Live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi! Welcome to SparkFun Live. I'm Liz. These are my friends, Pierce and Dia. They're going to be helping me today to show you the knitting bracer that I made, which is this. It's very fancy. It's not that fancy, but I made it, so...
It's so fancy. I've seen fancier things, but only at Tiffany's.
So let me take off the leather and show you how I made this. Also, if you have questions for me, and please ask me questions because I need questions. You can put them in the YouTube comments or off to the side or in the product page. The product page? No.
Yes?
The live blog page, I believe. This is taking much longer than I thought it would.
Do you want me to pull on that?
I got it. Okay. A bracer fits on your arm like so. So that I have all of my tools where it's easiest to find them.
And 2 armor points.
Yeah. So the plan for me making this was so that I had a new row counter on my wrist when I was knitting, so that when I'm knitting I can press the row counter and I wouldn't lose my spot, because I do that often.
I don't knit, so could you explain a little bit, just like briefly, why row counting is important in knitting and what really even is a row?
Sure. In projects like this pot holder I am making for the lunchroom, this is a chart and it's got a bunch of lines. So I have to be able to know which line I'm on.
Because they're all different because of the pattern?
The pattern changes with each line. So that's why.
Right.
In a chart like this is 43 lines. Somewhere in here, I'm bound to get lost.
Okay, so if you stop, the counter will tell you what line you were on when you were...
Exactly.
Okay.
And
cool.
I coded it so that when, yeah, no problem. I coded it so that when you turn it off, you put the project down for a while. When you turn it back on, it'll actually keep where your row is.
Nice.
Because forgetting is terrible. So I'm gonna stick this back over here. Okay, so underneath, I can take this off, which is just the MicroView, and this is the guts of my bracer. Very simple, the power source, the 2 buttons, one that goes up, one that goes down, and then the spot where the MicroView is. I did want to be able to remove the MicroView on and off, so I could put it on a smaller, like wrist size bit, or change the coding in the MicroView, since this is where all of the guts are for the MicroView. Because I started with a row counter and I figured I would want to expand on it. So far, I have not had many ideas on how to expand it. So if Dia or Pierce or anybody out there has ideas on how to expand what my MicroView should do on my knitting bracer, you should leave me a message in the comments.
So the up button is for when you go up a row. Do you use the down button if you have made a mistake and have to go back?
Yes.
Maybe the MicroView could tell me something encouraging if that happens.
That's a good idea.
Sounds depressing.
You didn't mess up, you just made a happy mistake.
That's right.
I believe is what...
Happy little stitches. This is your pot holder and it can be whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. Give it a happy tree. Okay, so... okay, so take this off. The guts are very simple, but I'm going to go ahead and solder it for you and show you how to do it.
That's exciting.
The pattern Okay, so this is the underbit, and this is, obviously I messed up some row of holes at one point,
Sure.
but this is my first project.
Is this the iron? Is it plugged in?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I wasn't sure because it wasn't plugged into here.
We'll turn the soldering iron on and let it do the thing. Okay. The first thing I have my battery holder, my 2 buttons, and a varying supply of 8-pin female headers. When I did my first one, I used straight headers and I bent all of the pins up, and then I found out you can actually get them bent because I'm very new at this. And another good idea I thought was the back and forth bent ones, in case you were using the conductive thread and wanted to attach it to that. It'd be easier to attach it to the other sides.
It would.
Versus attaching it to each thing, having the wires touch each other and then short circuit. In my limited knowledge of
On the
electronics.
very rare occasions when I've had to try and attach conductive thread to any kind of header or metal pin, I've tried soldering round jewelry findings onto it, but that's hard with a header. I don't know if there's room unless you get a really small one. But it's easier to have something to stitch into or through. For me, there's probably other ways. That's a really good idea. I should try that. On the next one, I'm going to try that. I've got a bunch in my desk.
Good to know. I think the hardest part for me in starting my knitting bracer was placement. I wasn't really sure where on my arm I wanted the MicroView. I wasn't sure where I wanted the buttons. I did decide I wanted the minus button harder to reach so that I don't accidentally count down. The plus button easier to reach so that I could more easily find.
I feel like that also expresses confidence, which I admire in you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Being able to see the MicroView but not have it stick out too far and hit things as I'm walking around. Where to put the scissors so that I wasn't stabbing myself. These are all important things you need to know. And especially because this is it's a very loose pattern. If you are not a knitter, you're a crochet person instead. Maybe you don't want so many holes for crochet hooks. Maybe you need something else. Maybe if you want to make the tailor's bracer, which is actually what I based my project off of, you'll want thread and better needles, etc. So it's customizable. You should make whatever you want out of it.
Before you go further, where can people find the wish list and the code for this?
The wish list and the code is most likely below the YouTube video in the comments area, also in the information area. It's also right below your screen currently. I lost my train of thought. Hang on.
Oh, there we go. There's the wish list.
The wish list is there.
I know.
And
did it.
The wish list is very simple. It's just I included the USB Pro programmer for the MicroView so that you can actually like
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Are you going to show us how to program it too? I know you're doing the soldering.
I have one of the programmers with me.
Okay.
But it's mostly a stick it into your computer and tell the computer what to do.
That sounds perfect.
That was something that I had to learn when I started this because I'm very new to all of this. Okay, I think I'm just gonna start soldering now. Again, so pick out where you want to keep your MicroView and all your buttons. Make them, to whatever is most useful for you. I'm going to, should I make the same thing or should I just make a smaller version?
Are you going to put it on someone smaller? Are we going to try it on copper?
We could try it on copper.
Does he crochet?
Not often.
Okay.
But sometimes.
He's more of a net.
Is there enough foam for the same thing?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, then we should definitely make a smaller one.
I think I'm going to make a smaller wrist size version so that I can just have the row counter.
Yeah, and not have
and not need everything else.
One armor point.
Yeah. The other hardest part about this project is the fitting everything onto your wrist. Before I had a pattern for a bracer, I grabbed a piece of foam and I kind of stuck it around my arm and used a pen and kind of drew around, and it was not a good idea. So I would suggest finding a pattern and then fixing it later once you actually have what you want.
I think I went through that exact same process when we made the dice bracer, the Dungeons and Dragons dice bracer. Like exact same thing.
Yeah.
Tracing it is terrible.
So I don't need it to be too big, so
There are lots of free patterns online.
yes, you should take advantage of them. So I'm going to fit it into my wrist, cut it down some, put it back around my wrist, see how it fits. Yeah, it's a little big, but that should be a big enough space to put everything.
Now, what material is that you have there?
Oh, this is craft foam.
Okay.
Found at Joann's. Joann's is a craft store that you would use to buy crafts. It's the place I live at, but in case you don't live at Joann's,
You know what we should do?
find one.
Is we should cover it with Warbler because craft foam makes like really good hard armor
Really?
base. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then you'd have like your
Like a
plate,
cuff.
your plate cuff, and your and your leather bracer.
That's
Yeah, for your paladin days. Paladin knitting. Warbler is a thermoplastic. It's a heat-sensitive plastic material that I think they used to use. They probably still use in the heels of shoes. So you can heat it up and mold it to other materials, and it's really, really great for fabrication of lightweight but hard things. And it's particularly used in the cosplay community to make things like armor and props.
so that it's more lightweight, but also kind of hard, and you can
and
mold
it's
it.
cheaper than learning how to be a blacksmith.
There's also that.
But it looks amazing.
Yes. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round out these corners on this, just because
Oh, look at Liz.
wanted
Doesn't
to
want
make it-
anyone to get hurt.
I want don't stab yourself with the craft foam. It's also prettier this way, in my humble opinion.
Okay, no, you're right.
And this is my project, so we're doing it my way. So now I get to decide where to place my MicroView, which I probably want my MicroView to sit in the middle-ish. And I'll put the buttons side by side. I'm gonna lay everything out just so I know kind of what I'm doing. If I had remembered a pen, I would put a pen, I would kind of trace out where these would go. And magically, there's a pen. So I know I want to lace this on my arm, so I'm going to draw some holes down here where they will lace. Just so I know, don't put anything too close to that side. My buttons, well, again, this is where I put it on my wrist. And I say, okay, well, if I put the buttons about here and I kind of push on them some, okay, it's not going to hurt my wrist at all. I'm not hitting any bones. That'll work out just fine. So those are my 2 buttons. I'm going to trace out where I'm putting them.
Now, is this crab foam, is it the same as L200? I'm not sure.
I have no idea what L200 is.
That's from a viewer.
Well, good question. Let me Google that real quick.
Good call.
L200. It's not a truck.
Maybe L200 foam?
It looks
yeah,
like
there we go.
foam art. As far as I can tell,
I assume we
It's
can expect a kickback from foam art?
it is closed cell foam, which I believe I would consider this to be closed cell. So yes, precisely.
Yeah, what you care about is flexibility. If it's soft enough to do the task at
Yes.
hand, it's a perfectly acceptable foam. You could probably do this
Exactly.
on some fabrics too.
Absolutely. And this is just what I'm putting what I'm gluing everything to.
Yeah.
The top fabric can be whatever. It's just a base to put everything. Also, so the electronics are not hitting your skin all the time, etc. I learned a new word. L200 is a type of craft foam. Thank you, viewer. I appreciate you.
I want to go into Joanne's and be like, excuse me, where's your L200?
and see, yes, this is my new plan as well. Okay.
The one with the glitter on it.
Where do I find the glitter L200? That's always the good question. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the MicroView on my wristlet. I'm going to call it a wristlet.
Oh, I love it.
I just made up a thing.
Or like your corsage. This could
My
be
knitting corsage.
Your knitting corsage.
Of course.
Duh.
It needs more flowers now. So I actually put the headers on the MicroView and then trace them out because I have no idea how far apart the MicroView actually is. So, okay, so I know that's where my buttons are. And if I put this back on my wrist, here's where my buttons live. Am I moving too much? So the MicroView, I want it to face me, and I'm going to stick it about there.
Show us which direction it faces. Like, where's the...
The top is closer, oh goodness, the screen part is closer to the top. There's a bit of a,
So this is the bottom?
yes.
Okay, cool.
Allowance?
There's
I'm
pizza
not
sauce
sure.
under my fingernail. It's bad for close-ups.
I love you. So
Lady.
I do want it to face upwards. So I'm going to set it on my wrist here. I could face it to other people, but then they'll know what row I'm on instead of me, which will be annoying.
And those people might not be constructive or helpful
Exactly.
at all, which is most people who are around when I'm not knitting.
Look at me for it.
So now that I know that's where I
I
want
have
that.
a viewer suggestion that instead of using the marker, you can just push the MicroView into the foam to mark it where the measure should go.
That's a really good idea. I'm totally going to do that right now.
See, look at it. Already being
Well,
helpful.
hold on,
Good
because it got
process.
moved around a couple of times in the process of finding the right spot.
Foam.
So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's already marked in like 3 or 4 different possible
kind of-
locations.
No, I got this. Watch.
Yeah? You gonna
Well,
get
okay, so I'm going
real
to stick it.
hard?
I'm going to stick it into my wrist.
All right.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Let's get some blood on live
Yes.
television.
Probably fine.
Psh.
Oh, God. That didn't make me feel good.
It totally left little white marks on my wrist.
You see what you did here?
Thank you for your suggestion. Okay, but yes, now the MicroView is set into the foam and I know where to put it. Oh, very smart.
There you go. Look at
Smart
that.
viewer. Do you want me to go get the first aid kit?
No, I am not bleeding.
Are you sure? Because it looks like, okay.
No, those are freckles.
Not bleeding.
I'm going back to crocheting.
He's gonna have an entire hat done by the time we're done.
Can't promise anything.
I believe in
Okay.
you.
So now I have a spot to put where my headers are going to go, which then the MicroView will sit on top of, etc. The last bit I have to put on here is my battery holder. And I do want, let's see, if it's going to be on my wrist this way, I want to put my button probably closest to where my wrist is so that I can reach it. And the battery will go in this side. But if I put it like this, I'll have to unlace it to put a new battery in and kind of like go up underneath to get to the switch. But if I do it this way, the switch is easily accessible.
And then you're also pushing a positive and a negative terminal towards your project instead of having to go around the battery pack on one side, which is nice.
Indeed. That is a good point. I am smarter than I thought I was.
You really are. You're a lot smarter than I thought you were, too. I didn't mean
So
that.
I am going to put,
Trouble.
I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to trace this out.
Forgive me.
I do.
I love you so much.
We can still be friends. Okay. So now I've got that, well, that's traced terribly, but I know where it's gonna go. And now I'm getting Sharpie all over my fingers.
How long can you power this off of just a coin cell?
I have not tested that yet.
I can't wait to find out. I'm really impressed.
I'm going to leave it on overnight and I'll get back to you. I have no idea. I really don't.
No, but I'm excited that it powers off of that. I think that's
It
like
does.
so nice and low profile.
Yes, as for an entire little microchip or chip inside the MicroView.
It never even occurred to me that you could power a display off of a coin cell, which was probably just me not thinking about it at all or doing the math. That's a thing I sometimes don't do.
Well, I didn't do the math either, but it worked when I tried it. So that's how I got it to do the thing.
That's awesome.
And now we know that that's how that works. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to solder. I am not going to solder to the MicroView itself because, as I stated earlier, I want to be able to take it on and off the machine or the bracer, reprogram it with the new happy dancing guy for when I mess up.
That's going to look like Schadenfreude. He should happy dance after a few rows and just make an encouraging face. Like, it's okay. Hang in there, baby. Like with the cat hanging off the tree.
I don't know how I'm going to program
I'm
that.
already giving up in my crochet.
No, don't give up on
Kitty's
us.
going to love you.
We got a clarification from our viewers.
Oh, good.
That, L200 is an EVA phone. Yes, EVA phone.
Oh.
I'm still not sure what that meant.
Awesome. I can check the internet. I bet it's the same thing. So I'm moving on because I don't know. I really don't.
Just go get some craft foam. It won't kill you to go to the craft store. Everything's going to be fine.
If L200 is your thing, you should do it. Oh goodness.
Follow your heart, foam-wise.
Do what makes you happy. If you really want, well, I am going to glue everything down to the foam, but you could probably just leave it loose and risk the wire sticks to your skin.
That seems fine.
You don't have to use foam. That's not going to go well, is it?
You know, they're insulated wires. I have gotten electrocuted, I'm not dead. I have gotten a little shocked by soldered joints before, but I mean the wires are fine. Just put some hot glue on that. I should have put some hot glue on that.
You should just put hot glue on it. Now we know.
Copper.
Now with the project, are you able to turn the MicroView on and off?
Yes. In the one that I have finished already, actually it probably shows it easier up here. It sits, the switch is actually up here so that I can switch it easily. And because that switch lives up here, I can kind of go in between the leather and the foam to get to it. To get the battery in and out, I have to go a little bit further, but
oh yeah, this power supply has an integrated switch, so you don't have to add another one to the circuit.
Indeed.
Which is nice.
Unless you really want the switch somewhere else, you could take it off and do it, put it somewhere else. You can't just take it off.
No, you can't take it off of here, but you could put another switch somewhere else and just leave this one on all the time.
Indeed. So I am going to
kind of want a bracer with a big missile switch on it. Chunk, bonk. This project's never going to make that sound, is it?
No. I don't think MicroView makes noise, but we can work on that.
Could we? Can we rev this?
So, the other thing I had to look up.
Okay, but that was a serious question. Okay, tell us about the thing you looked up.
You have a lot of room here to add giant buttons or big speakers if that's what you want.
It is.
Something I had to look up was what each of these pins does in the MicroView. And I had to figure out, okay, well this one is A0, this one is A1 for my buttons, which one's the power source, which one is the ground, etc. I know I found that on the website. I can look up where.
Data sheet, likely?
Probably. That sounds like the place I found it actually, so go to the data sheet and find out which pin goes to what, so that when you're wiring it, that's why I'm setting these out here, so that I know I can just copy my version because I've already done this. But if you want to do something new, you can. I give you permission. So, going to cut some wire. And I'm going to measure it. First thing I'm going to power is the actual MicroView. I don't need that much. I only need that much wire. I'm going to do a little bit longer just to make sure it has some give, and as you're taking on and off, it's not just pulling the wire off of your lily pad boards all the time.
Liz, do you take any extra steps to prevent shorts with the wires being so close to your skin?
That's mainly what the craft foam is for, is to all the electronics stays above my.
You can see on her project that all of the electronics are on the side that's not touching her skin.
That is why I chose it that way.
Safety first.
Safety works.
Sometimes.
Safety mostly, right. So that was something I was thinking about when I was choosing whether I was going to use wire or thread, conductive thread, was if I was doing the thread up and down through the foam, it was going to come in contact with my skin. I would need another layer of fabric between my skin, the craft foam, and then the craft foam and the leather. And so that's why I went with, well, I'll just use wire, put it all above my skin on top of the craft foam, so that I do not kill myself or electrocute myself, which is also not killing myself. Good question, thank you. Such a dork.
Your perfect never change.
I am stripping out the wire so that I have somewhere to
What's
connect.
Pierce's name?
Okay. There's-
Getting really into that over here.
We're really gonna miss that guy. Last Friday, Robert Cowan, I don't know if he officially announced or not, but he is no longer going to be working at SparkFun.
He resigned.
He resigned.
With resignation.
We are all the sads. Okay, so now I am going to solder my wire. I'm actually going to strip it just a little bit more. You may not know this, but I really like stripping. Wires.
I did know that.
Wires. Okie dokie.
Nick Paul actually has these amazing strippers that will strip
really?
like the middle of the wire.
Oh,
They're so cool.
fancy. Get my solder. Take my soldering gun. I find another hand.
Oh, I have some.
Hey, Dia, do you have hands?
Yeah, loads of them.
Cool. Can you,
Yeah,
hold that
totally.
so I can solder it?
I'm gonna turn this just a little bit.
When doing
How's that?
crafts, that's perfect. I suggest having a friend who will hold things for you.
It's actually always nice to have a friend.
Always.
I will always be your friend.
Aw. Let me get the...
He got off of the close-up cam in case my hand gets burned off.
Your hand's not gonna get burned off.
I'm not actually worried.
I'm totally worried. Trust your coworkers when they've been doing it a while and they know what they're doing. Oh man, I totally think it worked.
Yeah. Then I'll go because that wire got real hot, but
I'm sorry.
I actually did this with somebody else once and she splashed hot solder all over me. She just like shook the iron and rained molten metal on me. And she was like, oh, sorry. And I was like, it's cool, it's cool. It's cool. I'm fine. Keep going. You are not going to do that.
I'm not now. So look. Oh, yes.
I was going to say for Liz or Dia, what other uses or projects have you seen using the MicroView in the cosplay arena?
Ooh.
I totally haven't.
You haven't?
Not yet.
What would you think it could be used for?
Oh, so
I'm trying to think, like, what would I need to display just for me?
I think I like the idea of like robotics, definitely. If you're cosplaying as any kind of robot, you want to
Sort of meta, like not part of the cosplay at all. If you're doing it at a pretty high end and you're sure you're confident, so you're not worried that this is just going to lead to your heart getting a little bit broken. I wonder if you could rig it up with a pretty good light sensor and be able to count the number of camera flashes your costume has been in front of.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And then you could like log it, like, oh yeah, 2,000 people took pictures of my Wonder Woman cosplay, or like, oh no, like 3 people wanted pictures of SpongeBob, and I think one of those was when I went outside for a minute. You know?
I think the display's too small, but you might be able to do a Taranga Legal racer with it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what that is. I'm just agreeing.
Leela from Futurama?
Oh, Leela, yes. Yes, you said Futurama, Leela, and I heard Toronto.
No, Taranga Leela.
Oh,
That's her full name.
Taranga. She
you
has
know
a
her.
full
She has a
name?
full name. Dude, can you
we
hold
just
this on top of your
Take a
face?
second to love Pierce Melcher. Yeah, which pin am I trying to get on there?
Number 2.
Number 2. All right, I'm gonna.
Ooh, blinking eyes is a good idea.
Yeah.
Kind of one of the inspirations for this one was vaguely
Doing a really
steampunk.
bad job of holding this.
Kind of the reason for a bracer that's made out of leather.
Is this
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Oh God, soldering.
It's so fun.
We can't talk and solder at the same time though.
I can.
I can't. You talk.
I can't because I'm just holding things. If I couldn't talk and hold things at the same time, it would be a sad state of affairs, and people would just hand me stuff constantly.
Okay, is it gonna stick? It's sticking!
Yeah.
I did the thing.
I thought it was moving, but it was because this was not attached.
Oh, yes.
Yes, of course that moves.
We're going to hot glue everything down after we get all the components attached.
That's sensible. That's probably more sensible than I would be.
Well, I've already done this once, so that's why I'm so sensible.
Now, would it be possible to do any part of this project with conductive thread or fabric?
Absolutely. That was my first idea, but I had also never soldered before, and so I wanted to try it. But again, with these small pins, I had to figure out how to wrap the thread around the pin without letting it touch the other pins. But I think it would definitely also give it more flexibility if it had, and if you're going to make it bigger, I didn't think conductive thread would be better.
I think there are a lot of reasons why conductive thread would work for this.
Yes.
I do think this was a great opportunity to play with soldering, which I feel like every crafter should try and not be intimidated by, because it is a craftier skill than you think it is.
Absolutely.
And it's really similar to a lot of forms of craft growing. That's a technical term. You've probably never heard it because I'm a professional. Craft gluing, and it's also cool for jewelry making.
Yes.
Which is neat.
And that was something actually my stepdad pointed out was another use of this gauntlet would be a jeweler's gauntlet who's got it's got a
could it have like a swivel up magnifying glass or something?
That would be exceptionally steampunk.
It would be. I would forgive it though.
Some people are into that.
I know, I'm wrong.
Not wrong.
No,
you just have opinions.
Yeah, they're bad ones.
They are. They're just wrong opinions, that's all.
This is not a subjective topic.
Crafting never is. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to craft the ground or solder the ground down to the battery. From what I'm looking at my first version, my ground followed, there it is, my ground followed into a button, down to the last button, and then all the way back up to the MicroView. So I think I'm just going to follow that again, because I don't see a reason not to. Except, I just found a good reason.
What a voyage of discovery you're on.
Well, making it smaller is different.
Yeah.
In that version, it was all very linear.
Voyage of Discovery was great.
Thanks.
So the line here kind of goes from the battery to the MicroView to the buttons. But I think trying to solder 2 wires to the MicroView pin is not going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it.
But I shouldn't. I don't think I'm going to. Okay. I don't think I'm that. Always work within your own limits.
You have no limits, which I'm pretty sure I've seen on an elementary school motivational poster.
Try something once, but if it doesn't work, work within that limit. But always try something once.
Am I really that pale? I should get a tan. Well, like a spray tan, obviously.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Nobody's going outside.
Don't do it. I think I can do this one by myself.
Okay. I'm terrified.
Maybe. No, don't be terrified. I totally got this.
I just crave your success.
Aww.
I want only the best things in life for you.
You're the best.
No, you're the best.
That's you.
Thank you.
Pierce is the best.
Pierce is the best.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys can't see him, but Pierce's dog is back here, and it's just super cozy.
It really is. It's like a fall day.
Oh, you can't see his feet?
Okay, if you stop moving the wire, I think it'll sit. Perfect.
That's copper.
I'll just, I'll be back here.
Yay, it worked. Okay, so now I've got this. I'm going to connect it around to this button. Also, again, giving it some slack because I want it to be able to bend and not die. I have no idea if I'm going too slow or not.
Is this solid or stranded core?
This is currently solid.
Okay.
Is there a reason I should be using one or the other?
Stranded core is a little bit more flexible and less likely to snap internally.
Oh, okay. So I should be using that and not this.
I usually do, which, I mean, with short traces like you're doing, I don't think it makes a big difference. I don't think there's anything wrong with using solid.
Okay.
I prefer solid.
I'll find out when I go to turn it
Yeah,
on.
I do think that that's personal preference.
I'm gonna kind of wiggle this around.
I mean, usually I'm just right, but in this case, I hear you laughing at me. They're regretting letting me do this. They never let me do SparkFun Live because I'm cussy and mean.
That's why I wanted to here. Can you push down on this wire?
Oh, sure. Now she wants me to touch the wires.
I need you, Dia. I'm soldering this thing.
I'm soldering. So soldering.
Oh goodness, it just became that party. I'm getting much better at this as I go.
It's stuck to the foam.
The other problem with using foam is it melts.
Just a little.
But
just like
it's fine.
It's not ice cream.
Yes, as long as it doesn't melt onto your skin, we're good.
Everything's great.
Everything's great. The next piece is going to go from the negative of one button to the negative of the next, which again, very tiny, very short. I'm measuring this very scientifically. You may have noticed. Yeah, there.
Perfect. I just now noticed your shirt, and I am in love with it.
Why, thank you. Perhaps.
You guys probably can't see it. Her shirt says knit or die and has like a yarn ball and crossbones.
There we go. You made me drop my wire.
Really cute. I'm sorry, I didn't make you do anything. I think it's under copper.
Oh, it's right here actually. Funny, I got it.
Oh, it's on the table.
It's on the table.
Sorry, copper, I didn't mean to blame you.
I've done that a lot this weekend. I can't find the thing. Oh, it's not where I said it was. I don't know how you people do this.
I don't. I'm mean and cussy. What did I just tell you?
So we got another customer suggestion to use the power to make power snaps using the lily pad proto snaps that we have. So that when you snap the bracer on, it turns it on.
That's a great
Wait, that's not
idea.
the proto snap. Is it the simple snap?
Possibly.
Probably the simple snap.
Yeah, because the simple snap snaps on, and the proto snaps are the big ones that you snap apart after you've programmed them.
But don't we have a proto?
Or maybe I don't understand the suggestion. Oh, okay.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Unless you fall asleep in it and kill the battery. Just don't sleep in this.
Don't sleep
I
in
didn't
this.
mean that. I'm not touching that.
I know.
This isn't my fault. Okay, but
What?
you just need more.
Do I need more solder?
hands. More.
Okay.
Here, you hold those. I'll put this in there. You just need. Pierce, can we get your feet in here, maybe?
Going.
Copper, we need you. Ooh, hey, that's hot.
I always think the solution is more solder.
Then I'm gonna make it pretty because I'm a dork. Okay, so that's another thing done. And then I didn't strip the other side before I soldered it on. Okay, so the problem, that's too hot. And then I killed it. The problem with me doing this SparkFun Live is that I have no idea what I'm doing.
No,
I'm very new at this.
I disagree. You've already done it once.
Yeah, but okay. If you say so.
I did. That actually isn't subjective. You unquestionably actually did it once.
It's true.
You guys just make her nervous. Stop being so beautiful and intimidating.
Stop being so internet-y.
Right?
Wire stripping is so much fun.
Well, it's just so little.
It is.
You gotta do a lot of it to get in the zone. It's just straight.
Maybe that's what I should do, is cut all of the wire
Pierce
strips.
is a professional
Copper.
stripper. He's been doing this for years.
You know, a lot of you guys here are very good at it, and I'm just learning. Okay, putting this onto here. Melt. It's very hot.
Here. Hold it with these.
Ooh. Come on. Do it.
Oh,
Did I really just pull it off when I was about to do the thing?
yeah.
That figures.
Everything's perfect. Everything's fine. I never used chisel tips. Do you like it?
This one seems to work fine for me. If I push it underneath, maybe it'll... Wow, this is taking much longer than I thought it would.
It's okay. Just
Yeah,
swish
yeah,
it
this
around until you find the hot place.
So a viewer is asking,
Yes.
are there e-paper solutions that could replace the MicroView for a lengthier battery life? And is there other ways to extend the battery life?
Has anyone made an e-paper display that's got an integrated microcontroller? I haven't
Not
seen one, but that
necessarily.
doesn't
I mean
mean
they
it's...
have the driver board separate. Pervasive Displays does really good e-ink or e-paper. I think they're two separate things, but there's I think called e-paper. They always have a really cool booth at CES every year. That's one way of saving some battery life. Other ways, I'd say putting the display to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn it off when you're not looking at it. Maybe when you turn if you have an accelerometer on, you can turn your wrist so that
Ooh, I like that idea.
so if one axis is measuring the force felt due to gravity, then it'll wake up the display.
Or you could put a bigger power supply on it, like a car battery or something
Yep.
sensible like that.
It's true.
It doesn't make it less power hungry, but it'll last longer.
Bigger battery. Oh my goodness, why is this not doing that?
Yep, absolutely. They're rechargeable coin cells.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
I think,
probably...
do we still sell them? We had them, but we didn't sell a charger for them, I don't think.
I don't think we have a charger circuit for it.
Oh, hey. I did the thing.
I did the thing. Thing done.
This thing is taking much longer than I thought it would.
We've got all the time in the world. I'm not
You
busy.
say that. I've got places to be tonight.
Oh, look at me, so I've got a hot date.
Got a gaming tonight. I don't know if that counts as a hot date.
Oh. Tony just brought us a cheat code.
A cheat code.
Yeah. We've got a flex pen now.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's on there.
Yeah. It's working. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
So how?
Smush it on the pad before you thing it.
Okay.
And then it'll thing better.
Perfect.
Technical terms.
I believe you. Okay. Last bit of the negative, the ground to do is from the last button back to the MicroView. Again, I'm cheating by using the thing I previously did to know which pin to put it on.
Copper's just licking the floor.
It's one of his favorite activities.
Like actually
I was
looking
going to move the GoPro, but then he stopped. Oh, no. We're licking the floor again.
Copper, is that okay? What are you doing right now? Come on, buddy, you're on TV.
Please don't get Mountain Dew on my project.
I'm not gonna get Mountain Dew on your project. But if I did, it would be Pierce's fault.
It's true.
It's always mine.
Yep. I love you
Well, Mountain
people.
Dew never hurt anything. Or none of my projects would work.
Sometimes.
Can I flux onto the solder, or is that not going to help? Should I wait and just do the next?
I'll be honest, I never use Flex. What does it say? What?
Yeah.
Just put it all over and pretend it's hot sauce. People do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I loathe hot sauce.
Oh, I put on everything.
Solder. Don't eat solder.
I thought it was
eat solder.
lead-free. Why do we sell lead-free if not so you can eat it?
This is why I work here, because people are crazy, and I love them. I am doing more solder. Maybe. Now I gotta use something to hold it again because it got too hot for my fingers. Good thing I'm not doing this live. Do the thing. Do the thing. I think it did the thing. It did the thing. Thing.
So our viewers want to know, do you guys have any other costume ideas or suggestions as Halloween is coming?
Ooh, so many.
I'm giving you guys all my costume ideas.
I will say Dia brings a strong Halloween game to the table, so
Oh my god, why would you say that? I'm just going to be Nicolas Cage this year. That's my plan.
it's going to be a good news.
The best. Nicolas Cage is going to be like, I never looked that good. She's just so me.
What I've been really enjoying lately is cyberpunk. And
Yeah, take that, steampunk.
yes, a little bit different, but
Little William Gibson-y, or?
yeah.
What types of electronics do you use for that?
That's yes. I'm answering that question.
You're going to have to go into
My plan, which I give you permission to steal, as you and I are best friends.
She's so
Internet.
generous.
My plan was to use EL wire in, I don't know, accenting a costume, and especially if it's cyberpunk, like a motorcycle jacket that's got EL wire just friggin' everywhere. That's my current plan. Like I said, you can steal it because I like you, but
EL panels are probably cool for that stuff too. Nick has done some pretty cool stuff with LED matrix displays. Those look really nice.
Neat.
But LEDs are cool on everything.
I do also like the plan or the use of EL panels as tattoos. So here's my bit of nerdiness. Can I borrow your figures?
Yeah.
To hold this while I'm talking.
Yeah. That's what I meant too.
I have been reading it's the very...
Which pen is this going to?
Good question. Hang on, let me figure out what I'm doing and then
we'll talk about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
You know what I really wanted that just never
Happened.
Well, it hasn't made it to like the consumer market yet, but Anouk Whiprecht was doing projects with an e-film that got more or less opaque depending on applied current. And I really wanted to make Zaphod Beeblebrock's danger-sensitive sunglasses with it. But
that would be really fun.
I literally never saw that stuff anywhere but in her projects where she was collaborating with them. And they were like super high concept, really beautiful. I don't think they would be interested in my Beeblebrock's
The very last
project. This last or this last?
That last.
Put my fingers somewhere useful then.
A couple years ago, I used Evil Mad Scientist's Larson kit and their code to replicate the LED necktie from the We Are the Robots video that Kraftwerk did.
Oh, neat.
And I still have the tie kicking around. And Kraftwerk was playing in the Opera House down in Denver last month, and I totally forgot about it until half an hour before the performance. I was bummed I was going to wear the tie, I had the costume and everything.
That would have been amazing.
They're by far one of my favorite techno acts.
Yeah.
I've been reading a book series called The Iron Druid, and he has Celtic tattoos all up and down his arm. And I thought if I made it out of EL panels, I could make them glow with his magic when he's drawing on earth magic. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that for Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Someday I'm going to shave my head and do all of the shaved head cosplays like that year and then never do it again.
Never again.
Do like Aang and I'll do a Furiosa.
Perfect.
And someone else. See, there have to be more before I'll do it.
Do Tank Girl.
Tank Girl! You have to do Tank Girl like halfway into shaving your head and then go the rest of the way.
Yeah. Well, that's the transition period.
Oh, and Spider Jerusalem. I could do a Spider Jerusalem.
So much fun.
good.
Okay. Now I'm going
There's
to...
all our cosplay ideas. Shaving your
All
head
of
is an
them.
electronics thing.
Yes. Now you can steal all of our ideas. So the good thing about wire is I can just go over this wire and I don't have to worry about it shorting out.
Which you cannot do with thread.
Which is, yes, that's another reason why this is what wins. I'm gonna put on some flux. Wishy. The official flux noise. But then I'm gonna want to play flux later, so this will be interesting.
I had a hard time getting into flux.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's
I liked it the first few times and then I don't know what happened.
Can I ask you to? Oh, let me.
I don't know. Strip both sides.
Stripping both sides. Learn from your mistakes. This is a journey, as we've mentioned before. Gotta measure how long. And then destroy everything.
Everything's perfect.
Oh dear. I'm going to thread it kind of in between everything just to make it more difficult.
Perfect.
You can just hold that down there.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not flush against that pad, is it? Ah.
This is so exciting.
I'm excited. I've actually literally watched paint dry, so this is for me. Oh, hang on, I have to stop for a second.
Oh, yep.
Cool.
Would you like to use this?
I would.
Okay.
I would like that very much. Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Always be considerate of your friends when they're helping you with any project.
Unless that's not convenient to your ends.
But really, it should be, because that's what friends are for.
Helping you even when it hurts their hands a lot
Yeah.
is what friends are actually for.
That's what friends are for.
We can probably just flip this over to do it to here, right?
Oh,
Make it a little easier.
you are so smart.
Which pin? Is it going to this third pin?
The
or to
second one.
the second pin?
You were the smart one. I bow to your smartness.
I'm not going to tell my sister you said that.
Okay. I've never met your sister, so that's fine.
Well, she's basically the smartest human.
While you guys are doing that, where can people find more information on using the MicroView and textiles and everything that leads to the answer, the SparkFun Learn page?
Did we plant that question?
Why, I believe it'd be the SparkFun Learn page.
Wonderful.
This is.
It didn't do the thing.
Learn.sparkfun.com.
I think that I wasn't holding it in quite the right place.
Okay. Learn.sparkfun.com. We have a ton of tutorials. I don't remember if we have any on MicroView specifically, but
Probably.
lots of e-textiles.
Because I think MicroView came out well after we started doing hookup guides for every new product. You're
Okay,
welcome.
is it doing the thing? Oh, it should do the thing now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That thing like a boss.
I'm getting really not good
You
at
are.
this. I'm getting so good at this. It's not pretty, but it's
No,
gonna
it's
work.
very pretty. This is like a Jackson Pollock situation.
I think this is my last piece of wire. You can kind of tell by counting. Escape puppy.
Hopper. I almost whistled for him and then realized that that would not be a kind thing to do with a microphone around my neck.
That would make the internet sad.
They don't deserve that from me.
They deserve a lot.
But they always deserve better than they're getting from me, so they're used to this.
Okay. Stripping all of the sides. Wow, I'm making a mess.
You're supposed to make a mess.
Am I?
If you're not making a mess, you're not having fun.
Looks.
Don't let me into your homes because I will tell your children the same thing.
Like a cat in the hat.
I am a little bit like the cat in the hat, except I don't really look good in hats, but other than that,
Totally. Okie dokie. I am going to do the solder thing. Teamwork. I will hold the wire this time because I am your friend.
you are my friend. Did you burn yourself?
Nope. Almost, but I didn't.
Yes. Small victories.
Small victories. Live each day for small victories. Also, make sure you've got the wire cut and big enough so that you're not making it too small. This is also why we wire everything and then glue it down in case we make the wires too small.
So questions. How much of this gets programmed into the MicroView?
What's going on the third one?
Could you program a whole knitting sequence into it?
I think you could. If you wanted to, whenever you press the button, it told you what the next step in your project was.
Red, white, or?
I have seen it done.
That sounds amazing.
That was one of my inspirations, actually, was someone who had done it with LEDs, and the LEDs blinked differently depending on what stitch you were supposed to do in that area.
You'd have to format your pattern for that, though.
Yep.
I think that's a lot of work at the front end, but might make your life easier while you're doing it, and great if you're reproducing that project a lot of times.
Exactly. Especially, like, say you're doing a specific cap, like a monmouth cap.
For instance.
You could program it in so that it did the same thing every time. Since I know somebody who makes a lot of monmouth caps.
And you could be doing like the cunning hat.
The cunning hat is another one.
Start getting sued for that.
Yeah, but that's only if you're paying attention.
That was not Joss's call.
No, I know it wasn't Joss's call. He wouldn't do that to us. So everything looks really good.
It does.
Holy cow, I did a thing. So now I'm going to hot glue it down somehow. What's that? I'm going to start by hot gluing the MicroView down because I have to hot glue it while it's still together so that I'm sure that the headers stay in the right position. So if I just make a line along these lovely dots that I made into my skin, and then I stick it down on top. It might melt the craft foam a little bit, but I think you will survive. The whole project will survive. Just like that song.
At first you were afraid.
I was petrified. Okay, yeah.
Kept thinking I could never glue without you by my side.
Nope, I am not going to do it. Don't hot glue your fingers.
Don't hot glue your fingers.
Oh my goodness, this is not the prettiest project I've ever done.
But then I spent so many nights just sticking parts down to my foam.
It was beautiful. Jordan is so proud of you right now. And it is done. So, but, just kidding, we're not actually done. Because this is kind of ugly. So, my next plan is to cover it with leather. So you don't have to look at all that electronics. See, isn't that much prettier? Yeah, I know.
This isn't real leather, vegans.
This is not real leather. This is such very fake leather that it's impressive how fake it is.
I don't want anyone spraying your project red.
No. It might look a little bit
Color that leather is called?
brown. But it could.
Just wondering.
You could use.
Sometimes they have great names.
Oh yeah. We can give it.
Terracotta Warrior.
So something I'm going to do. So what I did was I traced my fabric onto here, or I traced pattern onto here to cut out my leather. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut. So now I've got the line. Ooh. I'm going to cut out a little bit around it, just so that it make sure to go over the craft foam and no craft foam is showing.
I'm an unofficial cameraman as well. You guys probably didn't know that.
Can we?
I got a degree in GoPro fiddling.
That is a thing you need when I am cutting.
Liberal arts. Just kidding, it was a minor.
I'm so glad you're helping me with this.
I majored in crap jokes.
Okay, now I have a piece of leather that's going to look great on my arm. Here's my next problem. While I don't want anything else to stick up out of the leather, I do want these things to stick up out of the leather. So, the headers. I have made it.
I don't know what I did.
You know what? I am actually going to try the stabbing it with the MicroView first, because I think that was a great idea. So if I make sure this is on here correctly, that's about where that is. That's about where that is. Oh, hey. Did it? I can't see my holes, so no, it didn't. Instead, I am going to draw it. Sorry, it didn't work that time. Try and fail. And then try something different. These are the things I live by. Yeah, that looks about right. You can also make these a little bit smaller so that you can't see any of the electronics through it. Actually, I'm going to try just doing a slit, because then maybe they'll stick up out of the slit and you won't have to cut anything off. This is quite...
If you're a fussy human being and this is making you uncomfortable, use a craft knife.
Oh, is it making people uncomfortable?
No, not me.
Okay. But if you're fussy, like, okay, that's going to bother me, so I'm going to cut that out.
I did this, didn't I? This is my fault.
Okay. So I stick this down over the top.
That looks so tidy.
Does it look tidy? Are you sure?
No, it's perfect.
I stick this on
I'm
top.
not sitting on top of it anyways. Who even cares? Nobody cares.
No, now you can't see how I messed it up. Alrighty, so I've got a little bit of stuff out here, but now that everything's glued down, I can just trim that out of the way. Oh, look, it's beautiful. Wow, no, it's not. So then you spend the rest of your day trimming your leather pieces. So I'm going to put in a battery and see if I did it right. This is the most fun part, is because I'm not used to doing exciting projects like this. So when it works right, it makes me so happy. All right, ready? Ready? I did a thing!
Oh, look, it tells you what to
And I'm on row 5. There you go. Here's some buttons.
She is.
I can go up and down on my buttons. So what I'll end up doing is I will mark out where each of the buttons sits, so I know where on the leather to press. But I'll do that later.
So it seems like you already pre-programmed the MicroView here?
Indeed I have.
Well, that's just the same one that was on the other project, because these are completely swappable.
Yes,
which is a
because
pretty neat thing.
Now I have two bracers that I can use
think
one.
offhand of 2 projects that you might want to swap the MicroView between, but I think it's cool that you could.
Well, I think specifically, I think it was this one, having the entire bracer that had my scissors and my needles, everything, but then also a smaller version that just has the row counter.
You're right.
If I'm
this is
using,
actually the perfect use case for that.
I may have thought ahead.
Are these stitch markers?
They are stitch markers.
You thought of everything.
The code is on GitHub. Let me pull it up and show it to you, because I'm a nice person. And I'm not just gonna like leave you hanging. Just kidding, I totally am.
I would have. I don't like people looking at my code. It's sloppy.
So when you go to that website, you will get to GitHub here. And this .ino this one here is where the actual code is. So when I click on that, it has my tiny little face over there, and this is where I I mostly wrote this myself, and then Mike Grusin really helped me with it because he's a sweetheart. But this is, I'm really proud of how well I know how to do this. So there's a copy of it for you. I highly recommend taking out Hello Liz and putting in your own name or whatever words you feel you want your thing to say. As I change my MicroView around, reprogram it, it'll have fancy little guys dancing now, because that's going to be a thing. Yay! The other thing, yeah, I think that's it. The only other thing left to do on this one is to make the holes where I would put in my lacing. But I don't, interesting. I left my hole punch downstairs because I'm good at this. Bam! Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I'm so happy.
It's small and convenient and travel friendly.
Oh, thank you. If you are traveling to a convention and you need to know what stitches you're on, I think
Copper hates it.
Oh, Copper.
Copper's so angry.
Copper is not happy.
Friend.
Shh.
That's nobody's friend.
You've never even been to the airport.
Oh, Copper, he doesn't take you anywhere nice.
Poor Copper.
You have a pull request for on your code, but now it seems like a perfect time to discuss the fact that we are open source and that we promote the open source community.
Indeed, we promote a open source community, and thus you should be able to pull it and play with it however you want. As you give things to us, we will give things unto you. It is a mutual relationship of giving.
Tony, why are you asking us to talk about this? You should be talking about it.
You give it to us, we share it with the community. Everything gets better for everyone.
Yep.
It's very nice.
What did she say? I think that's all I have. Do we have any other questions? Should I dance now? Can we end it?
Are we dancing?
No, we're not
Nobody
dancing.
said anything about dancing.
Yeah,
Try for SparkFun Live on Halloween.
On Halloween?
We're going to try to do a SparkFun Live on Halloween.
That's
Wow,
cool.
that's going to be really
Is
interesting.
Halloween during the week? Like, is that when we're doing the costume contest?
During the costume contest.
During the costume contest.
That's exciting.
Ooh, that is exciting. I will change my costume.
On costumes
Yeah.
here, so definitely.
Are all of our costumes like yes for TV?
Should we pronounce that?
Safe for live?
To the point where we might get some cease and desist.
So look for that.
I don't want to get
That'll
sued by
be pretty
Nicolas
fun.
Cage.
He might. Knowing him, he's interesting.
But he'll be
But-
mad. I'm going to be a much better Nick Cage than he is. You hear that? You hear that, Nicholas? I'm coming for you.
We're gonna get in so much trouble. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble while I burnt myself. I hope you had fun. Thank you, Dia and Pierce, for hanging out
Thank
with
you
me.
for
Thank
sharing
you.
your cool project with
Yeah, this
us.
is a really cool project.
Have a wonderful day.